You have been living clues about who you are your entire life. The problem is nobody taught us how to find them. And today we fix that. So, what am I saying? To answer that, let me take you through my own personal story, okay? And I hope by the time I'm done, I think you will see the same thing in your own life. I didn't wake up one morning and decided I'm going to become a writer. If you can remember, I once shared this. I was writing long before I called myself a writer. Long before I knew that's what I was, at least. At school, I was good with essay writing. There were times when my teacher would ask me to write her notes on the board for the other learners. I think here as well, maybe because of my handwriting. It's not bad, okay, but yeah. So again, in my waking life, writing naturally became part of everything I did. My job was admin heavy. I was an HR officer, lots of administrative work, communication, notes, letters, submissions, reading a lot. Even in relationships, when I needed to express something difficult or uncomfortable, writing helped me say what I couldn't easily say out loud. You see? And sometimes I wrote when I wanted to shout. Yeah, because I know myself. The one thing about me as well is I cry, you see. So writing comes to my defense. It's easy for me to write, like I always say, you see. Then came the internet cafe, more writing there, you see. Social media, I was also heavy on Facebook. There was a time I wrote a lot on Facebook, motivational notes. That's what I did. Then books, more writing. And eventually, like I once told you, someone asked me to assist them with their biography. And somewhere in all that, in the middle of an ordinary day, I had a quiet moment of recognition. You see, I had been writing for people before I ever knew I was a writer. That's what I meant, you see. When I say we have been living clues our entire lives, but unfortunately, or the problem being that no one taught us. You see, remember when I started this? So the pattern was there the whole time. I just hadn't stopped long enough to read it, you see. And then something happened that took this even further, you see, with my writing or with who I am. I noticed that when people come to me, it comes naturally for me to be that voice of reason. I'm able to advise them to an extent that I'll even advise them with their own relationships or their own marriages. Imagine, and I was never married myself. But what I'll do, I'll just listen to the person. And when I'm home, I will write them a letter. Write everything that I learned from them when they confided in me, and told them my opinion and encouraging them. And I'm proud to say I saved lots of marriages, even though myself, I was never married. I know I like to say, if things are not for me, or if things are not for you, walk away. But I don't mean this, to send you astray. There's a time when you say, now enough is enough. But I believe in trying before you can even come to that point of walking away. But please, it's very important that you understand me. Okay. So now, like I said, I was never married, but that's what I'll do. Okay. I will share, like I said, that I will share words of perspective, of patience, of second thought, of reason to stay when everything was saying go. You see? And those letters help save a lot of people, let me put it that way, with their situations. I just want to bring something, and I hope by now you are getting what I mean about this, or you are getting the gist of this topic for today. You see. So after that, I sat with that for a long time, asking myself, how is it possible? How do I help someone heal? Or how do you help heal something you haven't personally walked through yourself? You see, those were the questions that I asked myself. Or maybe you also went through some similar things. You can relate to what I'm saying. You see. So that question changed the way I understand who I am. You see. I've come to call that an unqualified impact. Yes. And I want to ask you, before we go any further, has that ever happened to you? Have you ever found yourself helping someone through something, maybe advising them, encouraging them, solving something for them, in an area where you haven't even fully figured it out yourself, and it worked? What you give them actually helped, you see. And somewhere afterwards, you wondered, where did that even come from? Like I've already asked you. I want to tell you that moment is not an accident. That is a clue. You see, a clue about what what has been placed within you, about what you were designed to carry, about who you actually are, beneath all the labels and the losses and the season of starting over. You don't need to possess the whole ocean to to hand a thirsty person a glass of clean water. You just need to notice what keeps flowing through you and be responsible enough to develop it. See, now we've spoken before about stripping away the labels. Remember, the titles, the roles, the things we sometimes use to explain who we are. Remember, when we did the identity audit, but once you begin removing those things, what remains? It's still a question. What if the answer is not another label? What if we need to look instead at the evidence our own lives have been giving us? The things we naturally do, the things people repeatedly come to us for, the problems we notice when others walk past, the things we keep returning to season after season, the difference we seem to make without even planning it. You know, it's like your reflex when there's a situation, you just know what to do without being told. Maybe those are the clues. So how do we begin to find the answer? I think we start by asking better questions. Not what do I do, but what do my choices reveal that I actually value? What do my choices reveal that I actually value? Because our values eventually show up in our decisions, whether we are conscious of them or not. Not what's my title, but what do I stand for? Because knowing what you stand for tells you something real about who you are. You see, not what am I good at, but what do I bring into other people's lives, almost without thinking. Encouragement, order, creativity, wisdom, compassion, problem solving, leadership, teaching, connecting people. You see, what becomes possible for somebody else simply because you are there. And perhaps most importantly, not only who am I, but what is my life consistently telling me about who I am. Because the pattern is usually already there. We have just been too busy or too hard on ourselves to stop and read it. You see. Now, I want to say something important here. Being good at something doesn't automatically mean this is my assignment. Your skill is a vehicle. The deeper question is, what can I do with this that contributes something meaningful? You see, A person may be good with numbers, another at building, another at teaching, another at listening, another at creating. But the deeper question for each of them becomes, what can this ability make possible for someone else? You see, because perhaps we were not created simply to accumulate abilities. We were created to use them. And that shift from accumulation to contribution is where identity starts to become clear. So today, I want to give you something practical to take away, okay? I call it the contribution audit. And I want you to notice we have actually already started it. Yes, actually. My story was the first example of how this works. So take a piece of paper or open your notes app and draw 3 columns. Okay. On column A, column 1, you write the early clues. What did people naturally ask you to do or help with when you were young, before life got complicated? Just, go back in time and think about it. That's how I got to doing it. Remember, if you listen to my story, during my school years, I'll take it back to that. So that is when you do your early clues. Okay. What did you do easily that others seem to find difficult? What was your childhood superpower? For me, it was writing. Long before I called it anything. So what is yours? You write there on column 1. Then we go to column 2, the unqualified impact. When have you helped someone in an area where you haven't fully figured it out yourself yet? Where has wisdom flowed through you bigger than your own experience? For me, it was those letters that I wrote. Well, for my married friends or any person or any of my friends, and especially when they had a challenge, that's what I would do. I used to do that. Write them letters and then I will advise them, encourage them to go and sit in their own corner and read them alone. You see, those letters written by someone who had never been married or who had never went through those challenges, but I'll be the one sitting down and writing all those advices. Yeah, and yet they help save a lot of people. You see. So don't dismiss those moments in your own life. Okay, write them down, no matter how small. Write it down. They are important clues. Okay. So with our column 3, the default setting. when a situation falls apart, when someone is broken-hearted, when a room fills with tension, what is your automatic response? It's a question there, but then you write your own answer. Do you organize? Do you listen quietly? Do you encourage? Do you find solutions? Do you protect? Do you bring calm? Do you bring peace? Do you create something? You write your answer there. I find it difficult sometimes when there's a situation and then you find there are those people who will put petrol on or paraffin in the situation. You see, but to you, what do you do? You see, that is what differentiates you from the rest. What do you do? Whatever your automatic response is, whatever your automatic response is, that is not nothing. That is design. Now look at your paper, okay? Where those three columns intersect, it is a blueprint, not a perfect finished answer, not a job description, but a genuine, honest clue about who you are. You are not your past mistakes. You are not the steps you missed. You are not a version of yourself that didn't make it. Those things are the things that fuel you. Don't put petrol. These things are the fuel that you need. You see, you are the light that shines through that unique, consistent contribution. Yeah, and I want to pause here and say something about the young people in our lives, because some of us discovered our clues very late, not because the clues were never there, but because nobody helped us notice them early enough. See? So we were told what to become. We were pointed towards what looked safe, what looked successful, what others expected. And sometimes in doing that, we missed what was already there. You see? Like even myself, I like to call my son the attorney in the family, the lawyer. Well, his elder brother, he is actually studying towards becoming an attorney, and I see that running in the family. His elder brother, my son, is also, I call him that, a lawyer, because of his attributes, what I see him doing. You see, those are the things that points, according to me, they point me to that. But he likes computers. So yeah. So let me leave it there. So if you have children or young people in your life, perhaps the most powerful thing you can do for them is not to tell them who to become, you see, but to help them notice what they are already showing you about who they are. You see, so even me, I had to calm down, not to misread everything, and just help him to record all these things that even myself see about him. And at the end of the day, it's his decision to make, you see. So ask them, what do you love doing when nobody is watching? What do people come to you for? What feels easy to you that others struggles with? You see, because it is never too early to start reading the clues. And the earlier we help them see, the less time they will spend wondering. You see, unlike us who found out these things later on in life. So this, it's working to their advantage actually. If we encourage them now with this contribution audit, it will also help them with their careers. You know, it serves like a career questionnaire as well. Yeah. So, and for those of us who feel like we discovered this a little later than we had liked, I want to say something I genuinely mean, okay? It is not too late. Not even close. Because the clues don't disappear with age. If anything, they become clearer. You have something that a young person doesn't have yet. And that is experience. Okay? Years of living, years of learning, years of navigating difficulty, years of discovering what matters and what doesn't, years of unqualified impact that you may have dismissed as ordinary, but that were actually building something within you the whole time. And that experience combined with this tool is not a small thing. You know, that is a powerful thing. So don't look at where you are today and call it too late. Look at where you are today and call it the beginning. With tools, with experience, with everything you have already been building inside yourself without even knowing it, you know. And this brings me to something else I've been sitting with. Okay, we spend a great deal of our lives accumulating money, possessions, knowledge, qualifications, achievements, titles. And there's nothing wrong with building those things, okay? Don't get me wrong. But what are they for? That is the question. Because eventually we leave many of them behind. So perhaps another way of asking, who am I, is simply, what am I here to contribute? What can I build? What can I solve? What can I teach? What can I create? Who can I encourage? You know, Who can I live better than I found them? It doesn't matter how small a contribution. Make it count. That's what is important. And maybe legacy. It's not simply having people remember you, remember your name. Maybe legacy is asking, what continues because I was here? Maybe someone knows something because you taught them. Maybe someone had courage because you encouraged them. Maybe something exists because you created it. Maybe someone else's journey became easier because you contributed something. You see now the difference. You see? And perhaps that is a better question than will they remember me? You know? Ask instead, what will continue because I was here? So, who am I? Maybe the answer is not one sentence, okay? Maybe it is something we discover progressively. You know, I am what I value. I am what I stand for. I am the character I choose to develop. I am the choices I repeatedly make. I am the gift I am responsible for using. I am not only what I have achieved, I am also what I choose to contribute. And perhaps I am still becoming. And that does not mean I don't know who I am. It means I understand that knowing myself and becoming myself are not two separate journeys. They are the same one. You see? And for those of us who believe there is something quietly worth considering, okay? Perhaps we are not here by accident. Perhaps there is meaningful good work for each of us to do. Already prepared, already designed, already placed within us before we even knew we were looking for it. Remember, I even shared a passage. We are God's own handiworks created in Christ to do good. Something like that I shared in my previous video as well. And discovering ourselves is not about creating grand, impressive identity. It is about becoming attentive enough to recognize what has been placed within us, responsible enough to develop it, and willing to use it well. Not for comparison. Sometimes we like to shooting ourselves in the foot. Not for applause, not to prove we are better than somebody else. because we cannot compare ourselves, even if we try. We are uniquely created for our own specific, parts. Yeah. But because our lives can contribute something beyond ourselves, and that is worth showing up for. Okay? And if you feel led to go deeper in that journey, ask God to lead you to a good church, a pastor, people of faith who can walk with you in ways that I cannot. Because I can point you in a direction, but there are those who are called and equipped to walk with you all the way there. Yes. And you deserve that kind of support. Okay? So, guys, I hope the message that I shared today, the contribution list, will be something you will consider, and I hope it is meaningful to someone out there. Guys, these are my notes, and I thought I should share them with you. Things I'm discovering along my own journey of becoming and sharing, because I believe if something helps me think differently, perhaps it may help someone else think differently too. You see? So don't panic if you still can't answer that question, who am I, in one sentence. Take your paper, fill in your 3 columns, look at the early clues, look at where you have had unqualified impact, look at your default setting, and then don't rush the answer. Let them come, okay? Because you are not filling in an application form. You see, you are getting to know yourself, and perhaps you are not as unknown to yourself as you think you are. Maybe you have just been looking in the wrong places. You see, the contribution audit is waiting for you in the description below. Copy it, take it somewhere quiet, and be honest with yourself. And I can't wait for the day when we are holding hands, continuing this journey, and celebrating together at the end of the tunnel. And remember, the end of the tunnel is just the beginning of the rest of our lives. Guys, thank you for your precious time. Thank you for your attention. I pray and I hope that this video has found you at the right time. Okay? I love you guys. Stay blessed. Keep thinking, keep contributing, keep becoming. Because you don't have to become somebody else to discover who you are. You may simply need to become more intentional about who you are already becoming. Okay? Guys, Thank you for joining me on my channel, our channel, and please share this message, especially with our young ones. Help them go through the contribution audit as well. And yes, it is meant for you, my VIPs, but please let's duplicate the love. As I'm sharing, let us share with the others. And please, I'd like to hear your comments, like the video, subscribe, so that these videos, they reach more people. I think they are meaningful, and I think they'll make a difference. One person is more than enough for me. Thank you so much, guys, and stay blessed. Thank you.